we should be all good to go on that one. And then let me see where the studio is. We got some changes here at the show. It's kind of nice. All right, boom. We want this, and I want that. This could go this way. There you go. Oh, look at that. Now Cliff and I are sexy as shit.
No,
all right,
really?
Do some, dude, we are, if Tits on a Bull was proper, dude. Yeah, we're there. Can I be a little bit of a jag? Are you able to scoot to your right a little bit? Because the way I got you cropped off, the way I got you cropped off is kind of like when you're full screen. This is the production stuff that you guys don't get to see behind the scenes, and I'm allowing you guys to enjoy it today for the first time ever on the Rants of Izzo show. And there's Cliff, and there's us. Oh man, let's have a show.
Prepare yourself.
The opinions of the host and guests on the show are exclusively just that, opinions. That means that they shouldn't be the cause of your state of being offended. Why does everybody get so butthurt?
Okay, let's go. Ready, go!
Sit down, shut up, and pay attention.
Damn!
This is the Rants of Izzo Show with your host, Dominic Izzo, from porn to politics. We touch every third rail we can find. You might want to put your headphones on so your mom can't hear this. It's been called the most entertaining 60 minutes on the internet, and it starts now. Let's do this.
Hey, we appreciate everybody holding. This is the Rants of Izzo show here on Freely Media. And if you want to know what the delay was, well, you're just going to have to listen to the podcast version of that one for the inquiring minds on it. It is Monday, January 27th. Today's show, The Rants of Izzo, is brought to you by Spreely.com. All things speak freely. Go check them out from the free speech platform for social media, as well as other podcasts like the Burn Pit Podcast, Report and Opine, Shannon Joy Shormo. And today's also brought to us by the Savagely Loud podcast. And we have Cliff in studio. He's co-pilots out. He pilots on Monday. Just Cliff, tell everybody about Savagely Loud. What's it all about, and why should people go watch it, listen to it, all that?
Savagely Loud podcast, man. Anywhere you get podcasts, we're getting new platforms every day. But the whole idea is we have those conversations that you're not supposed to have, but we have them in a way that's it's not just fucking ranting about shit, like, I spent the last 6 months of my life diving into the internet and found this, and now we have nothing to do with the information. We kind of try to circle it back to lessons that we can take and, unfuck our own lives in a sense. So, Savagely Loud podcast, everywhere we go. Savagely Loud on Instagram, and away we go.
Watch it or you're a communist.
Yeah. Yes, Watcher, you're a communist. Goddamn right.
That's what we're trying to. Every couple of years, it seems that there's an issue, definitely in like society. It's like it was during 2021 and 2 and 3. I got so tired of talking about nonstop. The vaccine and blah blah. I just got tired of it. So there's always a cycle. Like I'm at this point. I do not want to hear just give me a week off of talking about Trump. I mean, please, it's like, just shut up about him. Who cares about it? Yeah. So things we got to talk about today, we have to talk about ICE immigration raids that are coming in, especially in the suburbs or city of Chicago. A human chop shop that sold body parts for experiment. A woman who forgave her mother's killer only to learn the hard way that she shouldn't have done that. But we got to talk about some stuff here. In the meantime, I think we have to start off with this. Cliff, it is Monday. And it's my favorite time to do this. We have to start with Chicago weekend shooting numbers. Chicago weekend shooting numbers. Now, Cliff, who is somebody who is experienced in the city of Chicago, knows all about this. He has an unfair advantage over the rest of you who are in the chat or at home playing. Over in the chat, it is good to see Sarah Nichols, Kelly Wilson, Kate, Morgan, Bav. Did I see April? I saw Maddie Wack, who is chomping at the bit to be anti-Semitic. That's fine. Do what you want to do, Matt. If you want to join the chat, There is any link that you look at has the description to go to join the Telegram chat and go there. We are in the 27th day, actually, so 26 because we didn't count for today yet. 26 days in Chicago. Cliff, can you tell me how many people have been killed in Chicago proper only? Not the suburbs, just Chicago. Say the 2.7 million people who are vastly leaving pretty quickly because of the socialist mayor. How many people have been killed? Killed.
To date?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, to date, 2025. So the first 26 days of the month of this month.
Let's say what? 41.
Good guess. For anybody at home who wants to play, I'll give you a second to take a guess here. Get over in the chat, see what we have. If anybody wants to choose the guess. April Schoen says hi. Doesn't give a guess yet, but then we're on a delay, so it is what it is. I'll let you guys call it. The answer is 30. We've had 30 people killed so far. And if you divide that by 26, that's 1.15 people per day. So we have that. Now, the bigger number is there are going to be people who survive shootings. So, Cliff, total of those who, there you go. April Schoen said 30. She hit the nail on the head, unless she was looking at where we're getting these numbers, which is heyjackass.com. Cliff, how many people have been shot? That's including those who were killed, but how many people have been shot? You're going to have some survivors. So how many people do you have for that?
Do 88.
That's another good guess. Another good guess. And the delay in the chat's not going to let us see it, so it is what it is. The answer is 119. So 119. 119. Oh my gosh, I can't fucking. 119 divided by 26. That is 4.57 people shot every day in the city of Chicago. So, yeah.
Sounds like a magical place.
Oh my
We
God.
definitely shouldn't build a wall around it and burn it down.
I have always said, one of the easiest ways to take care of the problem is you take like whatever neighborhoods, and for those who don't understand Chicago, it's a grid, and you got neighborhoods in there and all that kind of garbage, and there's garbage in there. But some neighborhoods are fantastic, and other neighborhoods are just ultimate crap. But I think that the way to truly handle what they're doing in Chicago is you take, let's just say for argument's sake, Austin neighborhood, and Austin is the far most west suburb, or neighborhood in Chicago before you start hitting suburbs like Oak Park. So they have the shootings there. I think you need to take every fire, EMS, cop out of that area and then bolster them patrolling around the bordering towns and say, hey, or the bordering neighborhood, and say, hey, when you're able to control yourself and behave, we will bring back your services, dude. We'll do that, but just not yet. That's my solution.
Well, that's a conversation that nobody wants to have, and that's because it's one of the hard ones. It's everybody wants to address crime specifically, and everybody wants to address poverty because one will try to lead the other one to the other, and blah blah blah. So they look at neighborhoods like we see in Chicago, like West Garfield Park is, I think, the current. Oh, I got to try those.
Oh yeah, I got you on screen. I'm on the back trying to get my focus under wrap. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so
people can't see shit of what I'm doing.
we talk about we talk about crime and poverty, and we talk about the neighborhoods that are affected most by it, but we don't really talk about real solutions. I've got friends that I went to school with that work in Waukegan and North Chicago public politics, and they talk a lot about the violent crime. They talk a lot about the theft. They talk a lot about the poverty. They talk a lot about a lot of things, but they don't talk about the real problem. And the real problem isn't, what the city is doing to appease this person or fight this crime or whatever. The real problem is the people. You can go into any fucking area that is just like absolutely war-torn by fucking thugs, and you can pave the streets in gold, and you can plate the buildings in gold, and you can put diamond toilet seats on everything, and it's not going to fix a fucking thing because the people that are there are the problem. It's not the fucking area, and it's not the fucking politics in most parts.
Yeah, it's
the politics works in, but
no, people suck, dude. People don't want it. That's one of the number one reasons you just described why socialism will always fail. Is because I don't know about you, but I've been given free stuff and you don't appreciate it. No. You don't. It's like sometimes like
all of my internet content.
Okay, it's like friggin' it's free, But when you build something, you make something, you're like, oh my gosh, wow. Yeah. So that's why you just described why socialism will never work, and it blows me away. We have to talk about some people who are all upset about whatnot. They've been having the ICE raids. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officially launched enhanced targeted operations in Chicago on Sunday following a week-long frenzy of reported sightings reports since Trump's inauguration. A whirlwind of rumored sightings and community upheaval since the inauguration of President Trump. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officially launched its, quote, enhanced target operations program in Chicago on Sunday in conjunction with several federal agencies, according to officials. ICE, the largest branch of the Department of Homeland Security, announced on Sunday that the launch of Operation Safeguard in Chicago, alongside a slew of federal agents, including the FBI and DEA. Also, municipal cops work with that. I know a lot of times, like they have them for task force and whatnot. U.S. Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, along with federal partners, including the FBI, ATF, DEA, CBP, and U.S. Marshal Service, began conducting and enhancing targeted operations today in Chicago to enforce U.S. immigration law and preserve the public safety and national security, keeping potentially dangerous criminals out of our communities. And of course, people are going to have a problem with it. J.B. Pritzker has a problem with it, who's the governor, all of this. What are your views on your federal agents coming in and taking illegal criminal migrants who haven't done the process right out of their homes, potentially?
Woo! All right, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That's getting shit done. You know what? I understand, because I suffer from a bleeding heart as well, too, after all my life changes and shit. But the reality still exists. You are a criminal. If you walked into my house in the middle of the night, you'd be dead. But you walked into my country in the middle of the night, and I'm expected to give you a house. This is bullshit, and everybody here is fucking tired of it. We're all for, most Americans, I can tell you, real true Americans are all for immigration. As long as you're going through the channels and they're taxing the fuck out of you like they're taxing the fuck out of us, we're all right with it. You know, no special privileges. Nobody's unique. We're all fucking scumbags in the eyes of the government. Then we can play nice. But until you can get it through your fucking heads that entering on a nefarious premise maintains your criminal status for the rest of your life here, the conversation doesn't even need to be had.
The only thing I'm curious about, and I wonder, because you see all these, there's people who are up online. I've seen a couple of them so far. There was one that some woman put up a post, got like 15,000 shares in a half a day, because she filmed from her porch view from her phone, a bunch of, it's just police and a man with them. And the caption said, "I'm so heartbroken. My dad's been here for 30 years. He worked and blah, blah, blah. Now they're taking him." And my first thought in my head is this real? Because I don't believe anybody anymore. Every time I see somebody who, like, they see this puppy or kitten scurrying across the road, scrawny and shit, and they just happen to walk up to a filming, and then they nurse it back to health, and everyone's like, I'm going, dude, did you starve your puppy and then bring it to some isolated roadside where you just put it there and started filming? Because that's how sick I think people are. So the first question I put in this comment was, how do we know this is legitimate? And of course you get attacked and everything. But I will say, I'm wondering how ICE is doing this, because as somebody who has worked in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood, they're not the problem, in my opinion. Yeah, they've got their issues. They've got their drug problems and their domestics and shit like that. And they drive drunk and don't have insurance. There's a lot of shit that is really true with them, but not so much. And for most of them who work here for decades, if for a long time to contribute to society, I don't have a problem with them. But I know how shit works, because when the G.I. Joe Glenowitz shit happened up here in Fox Lake, Illinois, for those who don't know, we had a police lieutenant who, we thought he was killed by 3 people, and it was like 400 police and agents and FBI and all this. The Lake County Major Crimes Task Force, and anyone could look this up because these guys sued, they targeted 6 guys, I think, that they knew allegedly didn't have any connection to the case whatsoever, but they used the whole, it's an exigent circumstance to go after people we've been looking for, and they snatched them up and they kept them for 72 hours. And these guys sued, and the lawsuit was kicked out or whatnot. But I wonder what ICE is doing, going, all right, we know that we got to grab the Haitians, the military age guys are coming here. Hey, let's go over to Juan Rivera's house, who's been here for 20 years doing nothing but working, trying to provide for his family, and then we're going to go grab him because he's on our list for something. I wonder if they're using this as an excuse to do that, and how much of it is fake.
Maybe, but okay, so let me touch on this whole idea. Like, I get it. Like you had said, like most of them are fair individuals, we'll call them. You know, they work hard, they, you know, blah, blah, blah. I get in this conversation all the time because, you know, and inevitably, once you destroy everybody's argument based on that, like they're good human beings. I'm not saying they're not good human beings. I'm not saying they willfully want people to stop breathing on a daily basis, nothing like that. But once you destroy the arguments from the opposition, they always fall back onto, well, most of them are paying into the system that they're not taking from. That is a fucking poisonous argument because that's not a fact at all. So I'm friends with over a dozen ER nurses. Go to any hospital in America and you're going to see it's over. The emergency rooms are overwhelmed with Mexicans. Why? Because they can't go to the acute care centers because you need coverage to get that, and they can refuse you there. They can't go to the doctors because the doctors have to process their name and place of origin and all this other stuff. They don't want that. But they go to the fucking emergency room because they can't be refused service and they can't be documented by law. So what they do is every time they get the sniffles, they're in the fucking emergency room. And then who pays for that? Instead of them paying for, you know, a $300 doctor visit, the American taxpayers are now paying for a $2,000 ER visit.
Oh, they've never paid for the system. I realized that when I was younger. I was working in the restaurant industry at TGI Fridays, and there was a guy named Ice, ironically enough, Luis Herrera, and he just passed away. But he was, if I was 21, he had to be about 25, and the guy was a bartender. Bartenders made infinitely more money than servers did at the time, and everybody knew he migrated here, and I think eventually he got his citizenship. But not 60 to 70% of the money he earned here, he lived extremely humbly. He sent back home. He had a palace ranch in Mexico where he ultimately did retire to. So I was like, that's where, like, that was the beginning of my eyes opening up, being like, why are we so anti-illegal immigrants and whatnot? And then people like, because they're sending their money to Mexico. It's not going back into the system.
Right. It's the same principle as border towns. Like I'm close to a border town in Northern Illinois. Like I'm in Gurnee. We've got Wisconsin right over the border. And then we've got border towns. You know, anytime you go to a border town in any state, they're going to, when they see like our plate, we see a Wisconsin license plate in Illinois working. We're like, what the fuck, dude? You're not even putting that money back into our state system. You're working here and taking it there and then putting it back into their system. It's the same principle when it comes to immigration over the country borders. You know, when they come over here, yeah, they earn all their money here, but then they send it back to fucking Mexico in the winters, and then they get, the Mexicans and Mexico get the benefits from it as money is just being siphoned out of our infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all for it. I want to know how many people are milking the system by saying, my dad got deported. I'm like, dude, you don't even know that guy. You're tugging on heartstrings for nothing. Nobody knows who that man is or whatnot. But so I've been seeing videos of a lot of Mexican, mostly women actually making this video about how Americans are no longer welcome in Mexico. Like we can't go to Punta Cana, we can't go to Cancun, we can't vacation there at all, and because we hate Mexicans. Wait a minute. So you're telling me, this might be a little weird way of looking at it, but you're telling me openly and outright that you are now making yourself my enemy in my neighborhood, and you think that's going to go well. Like, people need to start thinking about the videos they put online and how stupid they sound and how incendiary they are. You know, you might be, you know, placating to your audience, but you're pissing off another audience that might be willing to do something about it. Oh, they're all idiots. They're all idiots, man. And if they're women, they're even more idiots on there. That's the sexist version of the Rants of Izzo here on Spreely TV. You want to hear a feel-good story?
Yeah.
You like feel-good story? this one really made me fun. It made me laugh. I hope I have the right article on here. Almost 23 years after, you know what? Let's do this the right way. Hang on. I got to set this stuff up every now and then. I think this should, this should be good here. We have to hit these a couple times. Almost after 23 years after an Arkansas mother was murdered by a 16-year-old, the convicted killer allegedly, I'm going to say that one. Deputies, I'm going to say that sentence. I can't read it because I give it away. Deputies from the Crichton County Sheriff responded to it. And I can't say that either. Here's the bottom line. This article is going to give it away. Martha McKay, her mother was killed by a man, a 16-year-old boy. Okay. That 16-year-old boy spent a lot of years in prison, and he forgave her, or she forgave him. I guess she spent time getting to know him and all that kind of stuff. And Travis Lewis is his name. And after 23 years of being like inside and whatnot and forgiving him, she invited him to her place. Do you want to take a wild guess at what happened there, Cliff, after this woman forgave this boy of killing her mother? And she has... What's your guess, Cliff? What do you think?
I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm going to guess that she lost some of that virtue.
Yeah. So here's the full story. After almost 23 years, an Arkansas mother was murdered by a 16-year-old convicted killer who allegedly killed her daughter. Police said deputies from Crittenden County Sheriff's Officer responded to a call on Wednesday at the historical Snowden House in Horseshoe Lake, where they saw a possible subject fleeing the property. Police had located a possible subject who jumped from an upstairs window, ran to a vehicle, and he drove across the yard and got stuck at the yard at the Snowden House. The suspect jumped from the car, ran into the lake. Wow, I didn't think black people could swim. According to a post from Facebook, he was observed going under the water and never came back up. Well, that answers that question. It's not racist if it's true. He went under the water, never came up. Authorities found the body of 63-year-old Martha McKay inside of the house, and the alleged killer's body was recovered from the water. They really can't swim.
I heard they don't like it. That's what, like, I have black friends, and no, I don't know how many, but right. Okay. But I heard they just don't like it. I heard they can do it. They just don't like, I don't know. They don't like mayonnaise either for some reason.
Oh, does that explain a lot to somebody who's listening? Authorities found the body of Martha. Okay. And then both bodies were sent to the state medical examiner's office to determine the manner of death. Police identified the killer as 39-year-old Travis Lewis, who was on parole since 2018 for the September 1996 murder of McKay's mother and another relative. Lewis, who was 16 at the time, tried as an adult for the murders, allegedly killed McKay inside the same crime scene from 23 years ago. Investigation is still ongoing. Wow.
You know what? It's I probably shouldn't be laughing. I mean, I guess it's not funny, but I mean, what was the whole point? Like, what was this woman's mindset in doing this? Okay, somebody killed your mother, so you spend the next 20-something years trying to befriend them? Like, what was the fucking point?
It's that horseshit Christian turn the other cheek crap is what it is, of which I suffered a victim of for years. It's like, you can't do that. Can't do that. I was having a conversation with a very good friend yesterday who has a business, and his business is very successful, but the mother effer gives away the farm all the time because he's like, I can't do that. I can't. And I tried explaining it to him. When I was teaching martial arts, I owned a gym for 3 years. Great experience on the horrible businessman I am, where I have to pay the landlord $18.50 every month. I have to pay heating bills in the winter. And even for those who don't know, even if you don't use gas, like you turn your heat off completely for the summer, we'll comment, or no, is it Nicor? Nicor will still charge you because it's based off of an average for the year of what citizens in your area are using. It's like, what? So there's all these business costs. Well, now, if Cliff came to me and said, hey, listen, I really want to train, but I don't have any tuition. Come on in, man. Come on in. And then socialism proves, A, Cliff will not train as hard because he's going to go, well, I didn't pay for it this month. The guy just let me in. There's an underlying tone of you won't respect me because literally you just walked all over me. I let you get away with it. And then when new people come in and they see like, oh, what's this guy's ability? And Cliff is not as good as I should have made him because of how his standards would have raised if he paid tuition. Then I lost my business. I had 1 month where I made money out of 3 years. And there's a whole big story behind that. But that's the same concept. We think that it's Christian to give everything away for free, to be afraid of money, and we have to forgive people and not go, this guy's a killer. This guy's a rapist. This guy's whatever. Yeah, you may have served 23 years in prison. That's awesome. Not trusting you, dude. I forgive you. I want nothing to do with you. Go and swallow a bottle of sleeping pills or put a gun to your head. I'm fine with that. It's Christianity, I think.
Oh yeah, it's not necessarily not only Christianity, but I think that's a large part of it. You know, we're taught to, as Christians, act the way everyone else wants us to act. What makes it convenient for them? You know, we're taught to be quiet, sit down, shut up, sit in the back, stay in the shadow, that kind of thing, and let everybody else kind of do what they do. And you know, when it all falls down, then we'll come and rescue everything, even though that's fucking impossible. The other part is it's the indoctrination system that we live in this country specifically. I don't see it in a lot of other countries, but we have this weird dynamic where we're supposed to hate everybody, but we're also supposed to unite and get along. How can you not be confused by that?
I don't know. They should all just kick rocks, man. I became selfish over the years, and I became a lot more I'm charging you for X, Y, and Z. You're not getting anything for free. And I literally, it's like I've had conversations with my family. He's like, my sisters are scattered. I'm like, okay, if the world goes to shit and you guys are able to, make it to the house. We're armed, plenty of room, and whatever. But if people like came up with their children, oh, could you take my family? No. I'm sorry. We're going to die. Not my problem. Right. Not my problem. And that has changed big time for me over the years, is not caring about people that way.
Well, here, and I'm the same way, but it's and I know like most people you'll say that out loud and people are like, oh my God, you would let a fucking child starve. You're a monster. No, in the situation that we're talking about is a post-apocalyptic scenario where every resource we have, including our oxygen, could and is finite. We have to protect this, and we have people in our circle, our families that need protecting, and everybody's going to pull their weight in our group, and we'll pull extra weight for the kids. But when it comes down to it, we can't accept all these other fucking people. We can't even let them, because I'm way into this shit. So we've already got this planned out. Like you can't even let people into your house in a scenario like that because they now know what you have. They can see something out there, even if it's like, oh, they see a Twix bar sitting on the cabinet. Now they know you've got a box of Twix in the fucking You're 9 meals away from your neighbors trying to kill you to feed their children in a scenario like this. So being this bleeding heart, whatever it might be, is impossible. And all it does is it kills everybody. Some people are going to die. I'm sorry. Maybe you should fucking take heed of all of the people for the last however many years that have been telling you, keep a fucking year or two of food. Keep even a couple of months worth of food. Keep 72 hours worth of food. Keep something. Keep a gun. Oh, you're not a gun person. Well, then you're going to get your lunch taken. So just accept it. These people that are worried about this and the people that scream about how you wouldn't take a child in that scenario aren't putting any effort into protecting their children now. So why the fuck is it our job later to protect them?
No, I appreciate the villains now. I keep looking at, like I tell people, if they really want an idea of what the world would be like post-apocalyptic, go watch the Walking Dead. That series was not about zombies. It was about society and how it functions afterwards. And every time you run across a new villain, like the governor or Negan had his shit wired tight, dude. Yep. That guy was not the villain.
Negan would have started the new government.
He had a perfect, everybody contributes, everybody, blah, 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 or you get your head cracked open. It's like that.
Now, Rick was doing really well for a while. Once he turned into that psychopathic, stick his fucking machete in that dude's head, Rick, he had it down. And I think he would have done better than anybody in the show until it jumped the shark and I stopped watching. Yep. Negan, though, he was not afraid to lay the law down. Like, this is the fucking thing that happens. If you fuck this tribe, we're going to fuck you back.
Yeah, Rick was a socialist in the beginning. Everybody I said, man, I was talking to Rachel about it because she hasn't seen it. Shane, who sadly, in the comic book, I think they killed him in like the second episode or second comic, but it's like I don't know if anybody remembers the Sophia in the Barn episode was like one of the best episodes they ever did. And it proved Shane was right. Yeah, Shane was right, man. Should have listened to him and the group would have survived. So yeah, like Bird Box was another one.
Also Shane, real quick, Shane was a piece of shit though, because Shane was banging Rick's wife, and he fucking left Rick for dead to do it. So,
but there's another choice you got to make. So you're in the hospital your buddy's in the hospital in a coma. I don't blame Shane at all. Your buddy's in the hospital in a coma. What are you gonna do? It's like shit,
I get
man.
That. But what happens when when Rick stumbled onto the van and then all of a sudden Shane's just trying to figure out how to kill him so he could keep banging his wife.
She was kind of hot. She was hot. Is what it,
I mean, she was the best looking one in that camp.
Oh my God, yeah, it's ridiculous. Bird Box is another one where you had what John Malkovich was saying, don't let people in, and they let people in, and what happened? I didn't see that one. Oh, Bird Box was fucking fake. It was actually a good Netflix film. Another one about society, about whether or not you should. No, bottom line, it's like with the people who are going back to Mexico or wherever you're being deported to. I don't care. I guess I don't care because I've been pushed to that point of how much money is being sent to overseas wars. I want nothing to do with. How many veterans still to this day, I keep hearing nonstop about how screwed up the VA is. I know for a fact that we have homeless and hungry people here. We've had this place called Skid Row for decades. So I don't care about the people who come here. And then the argument of, well, are you going to pick fruit? Are you going to do this? Let me tell you something. I've thought about this a million times. If you gave me a livable wage, I would have no fucking problem spending. What do you do for work? I pick fruit. And
I would mow grass.
I
think that's fucking awesome.
Kidding me? Are you kidding me? It's like, okay, and sadly, they don't get paid what they're worth, and that's a lot with a lot of people. But if you have a structured job where you knew this is what you're going to do, there's no ambiguity, there's no like, hey, you haven't hit your quota goal or whatever, dude. I got to mow the lawn, man. Leave me alone. I got to pick this. I would be like, thank you, because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm tired of trying to bust my ass to fucking make everything work in America. Give me the easy shit.
Yeah. Well, and that's the whole argument is like, well, if they're kind of, those people's argument works against them because the whole argument is predicated on the fact that we want everybody to leave that picks the fruit and mows the grass and all this other shit. And they're like, well, are you going to do it? Well, yeah, motherfucker, we're going to have to, aren't we? Like, I'm not going to just live in a fucking jungle. We're all going to end up mowing our grass, because white people love to fucking have this, oh, I don't have time because, I got to have my feet up for a while after work and all this other shit. So they pawn all that shit off. They'll just have to start fucking mowing their own grass, appreciating their own investment again.
You have a yard, right?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay, you have a yard. And every time I think about this now, every time I want to start a garden, I'm like, man, I'm in Illinois. How many months can we really get where we can grow something to eat? Even though I have a solution for that. Go ahead, text 708-982-0974. It grows inside of a tower. I'll tell you about that later. Anyways, you have a huge patch of grass in your home. And you get Illinois reasonably, maybe we get 3 months of really good sunshine or whatever, all this crap. Why do we have lawns? Why don't we all have gardens? I mean, like the entire damn backyard. You know how big that is for a garden? Insane. We don't do it. We all have to have lawns and this and that kind of crap. But if you didn't have people picking fruit for Monsanto or Dole or whatever companies it is, they would, what's the point of, they're not going to distribute your fruit and all this. Oh, grow it yourself. Yeah. Grow it yourself, dude.
That just means more work, and that's where people get fearful. It's like, again, when I hear that argument, I'm like, oh, you're the laziest motherfucker on earth. Okay, I got it. Now you're pissing and moaning because we're going to get rid of the people that do the shit you don't want to do. Oh, awesome. You're going to have to fucking do it. Like, here's the other thing. If we're in a scenario like that, and everybody's got their own, instead of lawns, we've got gardens, then we need less Walmarts and we need less fucking Walgreens and we need less of that shit. And, you know, the people that own us aren't going to, you know, allow that to happen. Whoever it may or may not be, they're just not going to let it happen, you know?
Technology, every time I think about technology, it blows me away how actually it's not that beneficial. I watched, I'm obsessed with those kind of like videos that pop up on your Facebook feed out of nowhere. And one is this like the hydraulic press. And somebody had an axe head from like the early 1900s versus an axe head from today. And they were pressing them onto each other blade for blade at a cross section. And every single new axe head they had would just be split by the pressure of the end one. And I thought, you know what? We have ruined product in America because 100+ years ago, you had guys who went out and they chopped down trees with axes. And look at all the jobs after that. You had the guys who had to sharpen the axes, guys who had to make the axes, you know, axe handles, all this stuff. Then technology comes along and says, here's a chainsaw. And all of a sudden there's not that big volume for axes anymore. And now it's let's half-ass the quality because, you may need an axe for your backyard, but you don't need it for the industrial, like redwood chopping down trees. And so we have killed our own work, our own economy, our own products. We suck as Americans.
Even the stuff that we use is shittier quality. Here's one that nobody really knows. Okay, so if you know what an anvil is, it's the thing that Wile E. Coyote used to drop on the Roadrunner, the big fucking steel thing. They're called anvils. The new ones, you can't actually buy an anvil anymore. You can only buy ASOs. You can only buy ASOs, which is anvil-shaped object, is literally what they're called. They're not the same. They're not the same molecular composition. Most of them aren't billet. Most of them are cast now. They're totally fucking shit. And they're more expensive than they have ever been. So you're getting half the quality of product for twice the price.
I've seen the ones on there. Some of them are like bowed and they're not, because it's what the blacksmiths use. And some of them they break. It's like, what the hell, dude? Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know they didn't make those anymore. Holy shit. Yep. Holy shit. But we have some good news. All our problems will be over, apparently. Okay, I accept all cookies. No, I don't want to do. You know, why can't I just read a damn article that you guys can bring up? Human animal hybrids are to be developed in the embryo form in Japan after the government-approved controversial stem cell research. Human cells will be grown into rat and mouse embryos and then brought to term as surrogate animals as parts of experiments to be set to be carried out in the University of Tokyo. Supporters say the work, led by renowned geneticist Hiromitsu Nakauchi, could be a first vital step in eventually growing organs that could be then transplanted into people in need. But opponents have raised concerns that the scientists are playing God. They worry that the human cells could stray beyond the targeted organs into the other areas of the animals, effectively creating a creature that is part animal and part person. For that reason, such prolonged experimentation has been effectively banned or gone under-financed across the world in recent years. In Japan, scientists were forbidden from going beyond a 14-day growth period, but those laws were relaxed in March when the country's educational and science ministry issued new guidelines saying such creations could now be brought to term. The doctor that I said, because I can't pronounce his name, his application of the experiment is first to be approved under the new framework. Quote, "We don't expect to create human organs immediately, but this allows us to advance our research based upon know-how we have gained up to this point," he had said. He added that he plans to proceed slowly and will not attempt to bring any hybrid embryos to term for some years, rather grow the hybrid mouse embryos to 14 and a half days when the animal's organs are mostly formed. The hybrid rat embryos are 15 and a half days. Now, my two questions are for you. Number one, do you really think they're going to do what they're saying and hold still to that?
No.
Okay. Number two, this article was from July of 2019. How far do you think they've gone?
Oh, I think they're way further than we thought. Like, I'm like, honestly, I'm already thinking about what Thundercat I want to be. Like, just fucking meld me up with something, man. Panthro or Chitara or some shit, Dude. But on a realistic level, one thing in there that it just burns me every time I hear that one argument put forth by people is you're playing God. This whole idea of playing God only comes about. How come this argument only comes about when it's doing something that you personally don't like? All scientists kind of play God. If that's what they do. Like they're here to figure out the information. They're here to unwind the creation, so to speak. And also, how come I never heard playing God with any of the, and this is going to get off into the weeds a little bit off topic.
We like
how
that.
How come I never heard anybody talking about all the doctors that were doing gender affirming care of playing God?
That's literally, where do we go? That's literally what they were doing. Literally.
Yeah. You're stopping God's natural progression of the human body and then creating it into something else. But nobody said you're playing God. No, it was just trust the science then.
Blows me away. And from my point of view, the transgender movement was satanic in the fact of you're saying, well, you don't need God, man. Like, yeah, do I hate that God made me 5'7"? I don't care anymore. I would have liked to have been 5'10", would be nice. So if I sit there and I have my femurs broken and then extensions put in and make me 5'7", I'm changing the biology of how I'm built. And man, I could picture like how they say that the Earth, if you take it 1 degree or 1/10 of a degree off its axis, it like throws off the polar temperatures and shit. It's like, I bet you, man, you add an inch to your body, shit's going to be different. It's like you're walking different, your bipedal motion. Like you remove a toe and your balance is going to be different. So but that's playing God because God said, here, you're created perfectly how I want you, boom. Well, hey, you know what? I think I want to surgically amputate my penis.
I have an objection.
Yeah. Can you make me a vag, please? Yeah. That argument is 100% equal to what you just said.
But now here's one. Okay, so like there is this weird, like their particular females where they have like the super huge clit. It looks like a dick. Like
bodybuilders, man.
There's something about no. Like, okay, but
Denise
the ones that like they have an orgasm and pinch your dick off.
Yeah, Denise Messino. That's called too much tren and testosterone.
But there actually is a. There actually is a condition though, where it's just overly large. It looks like a dick. Like in that, I mean, I guess in that kind of position, you don't pick a lane, but
you could find it. No woman will ever be like, you can't find it. Yeah, I've always had that fucking fetish.
You're not supposed to be able to lay it on the table either.
Mm-hmm. I've dated female bodybuilders who have like abused stuff, and I've been like, whoa, whoa. As long as you don't have to shave, I'm fine with that. Yeah, man. Holy shit. It's not wrong. It's just,
no.
It's not wrong. Yeah, Denise Messino. Anybody who has any clue what we're talking about, just Google Denise Messino nude, and you will see probably the most extreme example of that. You can send your emails of concern to rantsofizoshow@gmail.com for that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, look! I could see it in your eyes. You're all off in the dreamland.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I just, it's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, oh my gosh.
You don't have to convince me.
No, never. I'm fine with that, man. No, I don't have that. Get away from me. I want to read this article. What is it? Let's see if we can pull this one up here. When the FBI raided a now defunct Arizona body donation company, they found a gruesome scene including remains of different bodies sewn together in a Frankenstein manner and buckets of limbs. A former agent testified. Biological Research Center, its owners and employees and other companies, including a funeral home and healthcare providers, are being sued by family members of dead people who had opted to donate their bodies for, quote, solely medical and scientific purposes. Authorities instead found that bodies are at the center of what was a mishandled abuse, desecrated, sold for profit, according to the suit. A former FBI Phoenix associate special agent recently testified for the civil suit when the FBI raided the Biological Resource Center in 2014. He, quote, observed several unsettling scenes. I I observed a large torso with the head removed and replaced with a smaller head sewn together in a Frankenstein manner. He wrote, I observed body parts piled on top of each other throughout the facility with no apparently identification as who the bodies were, where they came from, where they belonged to. He said there were buckets and coolers of various body parts, including buckets of heads, arms, and legs, also absent of identification. Male torsos he saw without limbs and genitalia. A cooler was filled with male genitalia. A bucket of dicks, dude. A bucket of dicks. Family victims. Bottom line, more people playing mad scientist. I ask a question. At what point, going back to kind of like the Japan and embryos, it's not new. It's not new. There was a guy who's dead, Rob Skiba, and he has a really cool YouTube channel still to this day. And he goes down a lot of rabbit holes biblically and all this shit. And he talks about the Nephilim, who were these giants, who they came from angels having sex with women and all this shit. And the way that he strung it together, makes me go, holy shit, Greek mythology is not mythology. It's real. Like he talks about if you were born, I don't know, 6,000 years ago, and like you're 15 years old and you find out your grandfather's Methuselah and he's like 800 years old, you're like, dude, he's immortal. That's where they got the Greek the Greek immortal gods back then. These guys who were living to be like 900 years old. And then he's going, yeah, the Minotaur, the fucking fawn, all this, the human heads on the horse body and shit like that, or the bull head on the human body, because that was a product of this shit. I wonder how many people are actually trying to reduplicate that stuff.
Oh, I think a lot more than we know us. Let's call it somewhat normal people would even want to imagine. That's the other thing you got to think about. And as a society, like when you look out over society and you start placing expectations on it, just remember throughout the course of mankind that there's motherfuckers that are literally chopping people up and calling it medicine, chopping people up and storing their pieces in buckets of ice and calling it science. It's these people are just whacked.
Dude, think about it for a second. If you have that much money, like back when the QAnon days were around, you know, people were spreading stuff, and I bought all of it. I believed every single thing I heard. Yeah, dude, 100%.
I hoped it was true, but I
was like, yeah, dude, it's real. Nothing can. I never did that. Nothing can stop what's coming. I never did that shit. I never did the hashtag WWGA, where we go one, where you go all, that shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. But there was this like rumor that Nancy Pelosi was at some party, like a bunch of people, and Jeff Bezos was there, who is an insanely rich man. And apparently witness had heard her jump up and down and say, I can't wait till I get mine. I can't wait to get mine, because she was talking about her clone. And I started to think, if you really, like Andrew Tate talks about $20 million being all you need to be insanely rich. He goes, after that, you buy the same cars, the same watches, all this shit. How many houses can you buy? So when you reach that mark of 200 million, 500 million, $1 billion, I mean, there has to be a point where all the most expensive, rarest liquor in the world and wine doesn't taste good. And the pussy is, okay, great. I don't care if you cost me $200,000 for an hour. You're not worth it. But to clone yourself, I think of the stuff you could do with a clone, man.
Yeah, but how would you make it happen? Like I know we can clone shit because I clone weed all the time, but fucking it can be done. However, for people, there's a growth cycle here. Yeah. Like you can't just like, oh, I have another me.
I don't know.
How does it happen? And that's environmental. Like my clone, I think would look like me. It might sound like me vocal tone wise. It might have kind of the same mannerisms, but I think unless it was raised in the environment I was raised in, it would probably be different.
Well,
I'm fucking retarded when it comes to this
Joe
stuff.
Biden a good example for that? I mean, people said, oh, Joe Biden's a clone because he really wasn't like the Joe Biden we knew 20 years ago. So yeah. What I want to believe, there are people who are like these Bond villains who are so rich that they literally, it's like, I have a clone. And like, you're so like, imagine the problems of having no morals and being so super rich that you just have clones that you could just walk in and you beat the shit out of your clone. Like everything you can't do in society, you could do on a clone. You can, I'm going to kill this one this way, kill this one this way. Like, get some sadistic shit, dude. I picture people doing it.
I could see really, really wealthy people having some sort of goings on there. Yeah.
Telling you.
The logistics kind of fuck with my head a little bit though, but like, I don't know.
Well, as far as logistics, as far as like where they would have them stored and whatnot.
No, like, I mean, if I have a clone and I walk in and be like, hey, guess what, dude, I had a bad day. Wham! Does that hurt me?
I don't know. So, and these movies, we've had movies like this forever. Remember the Michael Keaton film where he was with Andy McDowell and there was like 5 of them or whatever. And he had
duplicity or simplicity or some shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that. Altered Carbon, great series. If anybody hasn't watched it on Netflix, they call them sleeves. And the meths, people who they called Methuselahs, they call them meths for short. They had like 30 or 40 clones of themselves, on standby so that they could just upload their consciousness if their body gets sick or whatever. But just download me into the next clone of myself. Or even I watched again. I hate admitting this, but I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. And Oblivion, there was like thousands of him. They've been. If you look, I think now there's 3 genres that Hollywood is always forcing down our throats: aliens, zombies, and now it looks like maybe clones a bit too.
The cloning, yeah, I think that's inevitable. Like they can clone stuff now. They've cloned sheep and goats and shit. But again, I'm so uninformed and just like incapable of thinking on that level. I don't know if I could see a future where everybody's got clones. I see more of a future where everybody's got robots and shit, or everybody is a robot, half a robot anyway.
Trying to think. Would you? You have a bionic arm. You can't feel anything ever again with it, man. That thing will punch through walls.
Like Jax from Mortal Kombat? Fuck yeah, give him 2. Give me 2.
Yeah.
Give me 2.
I'm thinking.
No, give me 1 because I still want to feel human flesh and embrace it with the other one.
I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Oh, let me pull up this one. This has got to be good. All right, hang on. We got another nice little trending breaking story here. Cocoa Beach, Florida, 2 elementary school employees were arrested after police say they were at an underage drinking party. The Cocoa Beach Police Department said on January 19th, officers responded to a home where over 100 juveniles were wearing matching T-shirts, and authorities said many were drinking alcohol that was in coolers in the residence. Homeowners identified as the Roosevelt Elementary School principal, Elizabeth Hill Brogan, 47 years old. During the investigation, juvenile was discovered on the front lawn suffering from alcohol-related medical emergency. It's called being drunk. Brevard County Fire Rescue is blah, blah, blah. So she's arrested for a party where juveniles drank, and she's the principal. In addition to the party, police say juveniles were arrested nearby at a DUI, while another intoxicated woman, Carly Anderson, was found, and she identified herself as a Roosevelt Elementary School teacher. I won't go so hard on this one. Number one, I don't know what the fuck you are having kids at your place for when kids are assholes and infamous for breaking into shit. But it kind of goes a different route that I wonder, if I'm dead wrong on this, I have no problem with you crucifying me for it. But did you ever read those articles about the teachers who have sex with the male students who are underage?
Yeah.
Now, we could say that's bad, right? That's bad.
Nobody really gives a fuck, though.
How?
The female teachers that are having sex with males?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's always the males that are like, I can't believe you do that. But the female teacher kind of gets off scot-free a little bit later.
Is it just me, or are there times where you're like, now, we didn't have these teachers who looked like that in grammar school and high school, but you're like, wow, my first thought is, who couldn't keep their mouth shut?
Yeah.
Who? Because yes, if a male teacher did this to a female student, that male teacher should be shot in the face on the spot. I don't know if I have a problem with a high school teacher. It's so fucking wrong to say, dude. It's so wrong to say.
The honest to God's truth is you okay, so gender to gender, a male teacher and a female student, that male teacher can force himself upon that female student. And when you reverse the roles, like, it's really hard to rape a dude. Like, it's really fucking hard to rape a dude. If nothing else, something in him wants to have it, or you're not going to get anything done.
Was he really raped? I mean, how many of these male students are going, then she forced her, because these teachers are hot.
Yeah.
They're not like...
When I was in school, if you had tits, that meant you were a teacher. None of the students did. Now it's like you can't tell them apart.
Right.
Yeah. Some of the teachers look like students.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel bad. I don't feel bad for thinking that in the first place. Going, somebody ruined it for everybody else. Somebody ruined. I mean,
you should have a certain moral level that you live to, but when it comes down to it, in a world that is nothing but, and we can even go right into the school, in a school system that pushes nothing but sex and genderism. Mm-hmm. I mean, why we're really going to freak out about this?
Yeah. Oh, here's a new study. This is kind of right up your alley. Humans need at least 4 hugs per day for basic survival. Anything less than that increases loneliness, depression, and stress. I haven't touched another human being in months that wasn't like a handshake or really quick. I'm doing just fine.
I didn't have a hug until I was 22, so
no,
whatever.
I mean...
I do think it will, on a real level, joking aside, it will pick up your, it will pick up your attitude. It will pick up your, it'll elevate your senses and stuff, your sense of purpose. But I think there is definitely some truth to it, but I don't think that, to put a number to it, I think you should just say, like, some sort of human interaction, whenever suits you kind of thing. Do
you ever cover that? Like, how physiology affects your psychology?
We will be, I've covered it before in my own personal content, but yeah. And as far as on the podcast, we will be getting into that for sure. Cause it's a really interesting topic, and seeing how much, loneliness can really just fuck up your everything in your body, physiologically and anatomically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, everything.
Yeah. I guess this girl should have gotten some, hugs. 14-year-old girl sneaks up on mother, kills her, then uses mother's dead phone to lure father. I didn't have enough coffee today. In a deeply disturbing incident, Carly Gregg, who's 14, was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole after she killed her mother and attempted to murder her stepfather. The teenager initially shot her mother, Ashley Smile, multiple times with a handgun that she retrieved from the parents' bedroom. After committing the murder, Carly used her mother's phone to lure her stepfather, Heath Smiley, home under the pretense of needing his help, instead killing him as well. This tragic event unfolded in Rankin County, Mississippi, and has since captivated the nation with its brutality and the young age of the perpetrator. During the trial, it was revealed that Carly has shown signs of mental distress, with her attorney arguing she is suffering from depression and has been hearing voices through these claims, though these claims are not substantiated enough to acquit her. Carly's actions were methodically planned. She had invited a friend over to see her mother's body after the murder, asking the friend if she was squeamish around dead bodies. This level of premeditation led prosecutors to argue that she was fully aware of the actions and consequences. And the court, considering these factors, found her guilty on all charges, including first-degree murder, attempted murder, and tampering with the evidence. The sentencing of Carly Gregg to life imprisonment has sparked global conversation about juvenile justice, mental health, support for adolescents, and the capacity of minors to understand and be held accountable for their crimes. 14 years old. You think she could be rehabilitated in like 30 years? Thank you.
No. Not at all. Not even close. If anything, she's going to get worse and worse and worse until she kills a lot of other people.
Yeah.
I understand now. Here's a caveat. I understand that there's got to be something in their life. Because my first question when I heard the story was, what did they do? Like, what did the parents do? Like, what was going on that made her do this? But the more you read into it, it's like she just might be something was triggered and then she cracked.
That has to be.
Some people do it.
I've always gone down like the route, it's a theological debate. Like, how could people do this shit? And I've wondered, so like, do you have a soul if you're able to do that kind of crime? Right. And so, cause I've looked at that whole, like the Nephilim argument, and like, for those who don't know, like when we back up, talk about a little bit, the the angels came down and had sex with the females, and then they created Nephilim, and Nephilim had no souls. That's why God flooded the earth. But there was still Nephilim after the days of Noah and the flood. I always wondered, for somebody to sit there and be that sadistic, or stab a pregnant woman 50 times, or, I mean, drown puppies or shit. What we call a sociopath. I always wondered if they come from a line of like these fallen angel sperm shit, man.
They could very well.
Dude, I don't know if you've ever gone down that rabbit hole. It's always blown me away.
You've got to have something really fucking wrong. Like, remember back, I don't know how many years ago it was. Shit, it had to have been 10 or 12 or something maybe. But there was that picture of the guy that, strung up a bunch of puppies with guitar strings and shit. So, like, the whole internet fucking found his ass. But everybody was enraged by it. It takes a certain level of brokenness in your brain to think that's cool, even if you're doing it and it's hurting you and you're not feeling great about it, but you're getting the attention you want. Like, there's a certain amount of brokenness that needs to be addressed. And once you get a certain level of that, it can't be repaired. You can't. It's just, unfortunately, you just have to be put down or locked in a fucking cell so you don't.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
We save the week, I know.
Yeah, we let him sit for 15 years on death row after being convicted of killing 36 boys, and then you do lethal injection. John Wayne Gacy. I think it was it was like the 90s when they finally executed him after 15 years, and it's like, why?
Well, and they let him make millions of dollars while he was in prison.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to hear? Do you know who Selena Gomez is?
Yeah.
I don't know any of her music or anything, but apparently...
I'll be a single soon.
Sounds pretty catchy. I'm going to listen to it later. Selena Gomez. Where did I just passed that up here. Oh, Selena Gomez breaks down crying over illegal immigrants being deported.
Say that I'm so sorry. All my people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
This is awesome.
How about you donate some of those hundreds of millions of dollars you got?
Well, hang on. Selena Gomez, net worth. Net worth 24. Selena Gomez in 2023 has a net worth of $1.3 billion.
And you know who her best friend is?
No.
Why don't you look up her net worth? It's a little girl called Taylor Swift is her fucking best friend.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm sure between the two of them, they can't come up with anything to do except cry on their phones.
So you need $999,900,999 and then add one to hit $1 billion. The amount of money that is like offensively hard to comp. I don't know what to do. What
you could buy Mexico and give them all a great place to live.
Can you imagine the land you could buy in Mexico?
Dude, most of it. Between her and Taylor Swift, they could own most of it. They could turn Mexico City into Dubai.
Holy shit, man! We're stupid. I really want these people who cry for this shit. I said in the beginning of the show how partial I am to this and I should come here, but I also know that, I mean, in so many words, when they're drunk and intoxicated and drugged up on shit, they will penetrate anything with a wet hole. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I would love for some of you to let your children around these people who are getting deported you think are so awesome. And on that one, I find it funny. I've over the course of my years on this planet, I've talked to a lot of white women that decided to date Mexican men and Iranian men and Middle Eastern men and South American men, Ecuadorian and Guatemalan. And it never works out good.
It just never
Why
fucking
is
works
that,
out
Cliff?
good.
Why is
it's
that,
because
Cliff?
they don't treat women like humans. And you are their fucking slave, their servant. You are meant to breed their fucking children, raise their fucking children, and have a goddamn meal on the fucking table every time I get home. That's the way it is. And that's their culture. You know what? If, you know, as a man, if I could have the fucking culture of just being God, I guess I would fucking dig it. But I never really been exposed to that. Everybody says we have, but I haven't had that.
What is this? Oh, I can't see it. Damn it. I had a good tweet that was up there. The culture is everything. That's why I think more, I mean, clearly the answer for us is to have fat blonde women date more black men.
Straight out of options.
Oh my God. When you think about it, they're doing us a favor. Those men are heroes. Absolute heroes. Absolute heroes. Just when I thought that, I'm going to share the screen on this one. Just when I thought that it was only law enforcement that women were shitting all over and ruining, this is a video of a healthcare worker dancing on the head of a disabled person and then trying to explain her actions.
Patience, but it's not what it is. Trust and believe. All I gotta say for now is angles play a big part, but we're gonna get into that another time. Okay? A lot of people in the comments talking about sex, just all type of dumb, non-verbal. Trust and believe. He's verbal, and if he's not verbal to his kins, then I don't know what's going on over there. But around here, he be verbal, and I got proof. What you say?
Can I get my hug?
You want to get a hug?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye, mama.
He looks very aware and comfortable to me, so y'all need to stop jumping to conclusions. Even though, yeah, I do see how he look, but trust me, it's not that. Enough is enough. Stay tuned.
What is it with black healthcare workers who work in like nursing homes? And I'm kind of torn on this one because what if this is this guy is like fully aware and we all just ruined the only time he ever gets any physical contact or touch. There's that, but it's black healthcare workers who, if you get older in life and you have to wear a diaper and you're in like your 90s, don't go to a nursing home because they're going to leave you in your shit and then beat the hell out of you when you don't eat your oatmeal. And now it's this.
It's so classless. I don't even know how to handle this. Like, I'm half torn, but like between like, well, good for that dude.
Right.
And shoot that bitch. Like, I don't know how to, this one's got me clusterfucked.
This is the problem I have with society because I'm like, wait a second. What if this guy has been like paraplegic his whole life, quadriplegic, can't friggin' move, all this, and then he's like, shut the hell up. I'm getting my dick sucked, you moron. But he can't even say it because he doesn't have a Stephen Hawking's computer. But it's everything has to go up online. Not only did she put it up online, then she tried to justify it, which is hilarious.
You know what? And it's hard to be all the way mad. Like, I guess I'd lean on the side of like, you're a fucking piece of shit. Like you use this fucking dude who's obviously not in the greatest position in life to get yourself some fucking Instagram views. Then you used the backlash that you knew it would get to get more. So like, you're a piece of shit across the board anyway. But I would be it'd be easier to be really mad, like big mad about this if she was actually doing something to hurt him. Like if she was standing on his arms or something and then dancing on his head, it would be a lot easier to be mad all the way. But I don't know. You're such a piece of shit. I feel bad that you have to live that life.
Do you have an argument that would support her actions?
I could fucking support anything. I could lawyer anything. Oh, yeah, absolutely. If I wanted to argue for her, be like, she was the one woman in this entire healthcare facility that cared enough and understood enough about a human's need for physical connection that she was the only one in the building. And then she went forth and did this, and now you chastise her for helping somebody on a level that nobody else was. Yeah, I could fucking argue that. No problem.
She wasn't unattractive. She was in shape. And she was just grinding on him, but you put they all put everything up online, man, all the time,
Here's a spin on this.
Okay.
Let's say let's take the route that it's a good thing. We're gonna go that way. But what if his shit still works and now he's just folded up in the chair with blue balls?
That's exactly what I'm. So I hate the fact that that we have to have black and white areas with everything, right? Yeah. And because it's like when we go back to the teachers, MILF teachers and young students, the 50-year-old me goes, no. But the 16-year-old me goes, I wish that would have fucking happened. Who said something? Why couldn't they shut? Matt couldn't keep his mouth shut and had to come to math class and brag about it and ruined it for the rest of us. And then it's this. What if you had a kid, man, you got a son, you're like, man, and he grows up to be 50, never moves, quadriplegic, but his stuff works and his mind is all there and he's trapped in that meat shell. And here's a nurse who finally has a kink and she's like, oh man, I'll clean out your colostomy bag and then I'll empty your other one too. But the bitch has to put it up on social media because she's so stupid. Social media ruins things for everyone.
Yeah. Well, that goes the other way too. So like, even when people are doing good things, it ruins everything because everybody's got to be fucking shitbag talking on there. Like it's not charity if you're getting it on camera. Well, if I don't get it on camera, nobody knows the shit happens because all we fucking see is the bad stuff. So, you're fucked any way you go.
Yeah. Hang on. This woman asked her white professor something. Let's hear what she had to say.
Me to stop spitting my poetry in an angry black woman voice.
Your white professor needs to ask you to pronounce ask properly. Dumbass.
There you go. We got that argument was finally over. Okay. Appreciate that one.
Try some new.
Fucking ridiculous. Oh my God. I'm so tired of everything. This is what we do. We scroll the internet and you get outraged or you get, you laugh or you just start thinking, you know what? My life isn't so bad to begin with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I woke up today and knew that other people were out there, so I know my life ain't that bad.
I told you. I woke up and immediately my stomach started bubbling from the awesomely bad decision I made the night before. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, you got to listen to the podcast version of this. All right. She's everywhere. Selena Gomez is everywhere now for this. And apparently she posted and then deleted a video of herself crying on Instagram on Monday. The Amelia Perez actress sobbed to the camera, seemingly about President Donald Trump's program of mass deportations. I don't get when celebrities became the voice of everything that is like, I don't know. They literally, for the most part, actors, they pretend. That is their job, is to pretend for a living. Singers sing words written to them that other people create. They produce nothing on their own, but they are our gods. I don't know. I still don't understand this shit ever.
Well, they're still operating on the old system, on a yesteryear operating system where anybody that was in front of the camera obviously was in front of the camera because they knew their shit and they were somebody to be looked up to. But now everybody's got cameras. There's, 8 billion cameras online. So everybody's got a camera, and the celebrities are still operating under this notion that we really actually respect them and we don't just see them for what they are, is what you just said, pretenders, professional children.
It's ridiculous. Oh, I don't know if you saw this. I saw this over the weekend. Here's a teacher. It's a I can't tell if it's a trans man or not. It's a very large woman. This is what she has to say about the raids.
Can now raid classrooms. And as a high school teacher, I just want to make one thing clear. If someone tries to come in my classroom and take one of my students, one of us isn't leaving the classroom. Play with me.
I want to play. Dude, I'm so fucking tired of these stupid bitches out here fucking making. First and foremost, the video has zero premise because to everything I've read, they're not going to remove 5-year-olds from classrooms while school is in session. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're just trying to you're just clout chasing on the internet. And beyond that, like I'm seeing, there's a whole bunch of them out there. And not one of these women look like they can actually do anything, especially not confronted with fucking 5 to 10 trained fucking police officers, SWAT officers, ICE officers with fucking automatic weapons.
She makes a great argument for the Second Amendment. Doesn't even realize it, because the only way you're going to do that is protecting them from other people with firearms. So it's like, wow, you just made a great argument for the need of the Second Amendment. And then it kind of hit me. I'm like, where was her or any of these teachers who are doing this? Because it wasn't just her; it was more people out there. Where was their same tone, pitch, passion when it came down to school shooters? If you're going to come to my school and shoot up, one of us isn't leaving. Play with me. So,
it was hide under the desk then and act like a victim. Well, I mean, you are a victim, but accentuate that.
Unbelievable. Cliff, tell us, what do you got coming up for the oh my God, Savagely Loud podcast?
More shit. We've got a lot of people we're starting to schedule in for guest appearances, and we like to get people in and tell like they have a story that are, they're not just your buddy that wanted to be on a podcast. Like they actually have some shit to say, some feats of triumph and all that. So we've got some of them scheduled in to come in pretty soon. We're recording tonight our next episode that'll be out on Wednesday. We release every Wednesday morning. Savagely Loud podcast. Spotify is our #1 platform right now, but we're also on YouTube. We're also now video on YouTube as well.
Yeah,
so
blows me away. I don't know when you started podcasting, but I was thinking about this the other day. This is the 7th year going. We're starting the 7th year of this show, and who I was talking entrepreneurship with somebody and friends and family, and how friends and family are the worst when it comes down to any type of business you're doing. And I had a very good friend of mine. I said, hey, I'm starting a podcast and blah, blah, blah. Oh, those are really hard to do. And people fail at those all the time. I'm like, oh yeah, awesome. And it's like after my first month of doing it, I sent him some episodes, and I was doing live internet radio 2 hours a day by myself. It was a 27-minute block, 3-minute break, 27-minute block, 4-minute break, 27-minute block, 3-minute break, 27-minute block, close. I had to fill all that time by myself for 2 years, Monday through Friday. And I'm like 7 years later, and I just want to go, yeah, it's not that hard, fucker. But your friends and family, man, when you do this shit, they just don't support you, and everybody's a cunt.
Yeah, everybody. I mean, it's hard to keep going when you look at your numbers and because everybody thinks they start a podcast and you're going to get 300 downloads your first day. And, dude, my first podcast, I don't think I hit 300 downloads for fucking a year or maybe more. So, it is what it is. But I can tell you this, if you're going to start one, don't be the cliche. Don't just know it's going to be 10 years to go and before you get anywhere, and you're going to have to keep putting out episodes, and people aren't going to fucking listen to them. Your buddies are going to tell you all about how, I got to listen to the show. I got to listen to the show. They're just never going to listen to the show. They're never going to share the show. Don't expect anything out of your friends. Just put your fucking information out there and have a good time with it and see who bites,
Yeah, everyone sucks in the face. I'm go look at some comments here. Give a couple minutes. I had nothing to say. I don't know, dude. That's it. I don't know. I think I'm burnt out for today. I'm literally like drained from being on the toilet from 8 o'clock this morning until being late today. Like literally, it blows me away how I'm literally, because people can't see what's going on in my head, I feel like the shell of myself because I'm so void of everything that was in me is gone. And like I told Cliff, I need 5 minutes, man. We're going to be late. And I'm going, how is this possible? It's 11:55. And from 8 o'clock this morning to 11:55, it was at least 5 times. At least 5 times. I'm not kidding. I'm fucking drained, dude. Holy shit. I guess we'll
you have my sympathy.
Dude, it's literally all that is Jardinier. It's like, how is this still affecting me today?
Spice and oil.
Oh my God. Oh, celery. You know what? It's got to be the celery, because when I was doing celery juice in the mornings, instantly clean. If you do celery juice, do it on a day where you're off and you got nothing planned. 2 hours after you do it, it's going to be, whoa, I'm not going anywhere at all.
Try some mag citrate.
Oh, I'm all about that stuff. Guys, Savagely Loud Podcast. Check it out. New episodes every Wednesday. And Spotify's the main platform for it, and YouTube as well. Go subscribe to the Savagely Loud YouTube channel. Kids, don't forget, if you parents have children that are not eating fruits and vegetables, and those little bastards need to get it down their gullet, text veggies to 708-982-0974. I have a way for you to get stuff for free that they will love. Burn Pit Podcast, Report and Opine, Shannon Joy Show, Pete Santilli, a social media platform where you could say what you want and not get censored. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I don't know what else to say about it other than if you're not on it yet, something wrong with you. Spreely.com. You got a Fire Stick, Roku, or Apple? Download the app for it, and then download Freedom Hub, all one word, for your smartphone. Have a fantastic day. Eric Butler is out tomorrow again, but he's doing okay. I texted him today, and Kayla from Flex Your Feminine will be joining, and we're going to be talking about some things, all the things. That's it. Savagely Loud. Go follow him, or you're a communist. Go help somebody today, and if you don't help them, just don't hurt them. It's as simple as that. See you guys tomorrow.